Well, I know in the middle of rewriting this second edition of Stylin, you moved from California to the East Coast and to take a job with a fairly progressive web company. You want to talk a little about that company and what your role is there and how you apply these kinds of ideas in your work?
For sure. I'd been visiting South Carolina for many years because our family is out there, my wife's family is out there, and they were trying to encourage us to move there, and I said, hey, what does a web developer do in historic Old Charleston? Well, I found the answer when I went to benefitfocus.com, who are a healthcare software company, and they provide the software for the Blue Crosses and Blue Shields and other big health insurance companies to set up the groups, the companies that want to offer health insurance to their employees, and then enroll those employees into their healthcare plans. It's a very, very complex system that applies a lot of business rules, and you could look at it as an extremely technical project. And so what they wanted me to do was come there and say, well, how do we turn this into great user experience and create something where people can really understand what's being offered and very simple ways enroll into their health plans. And they've done a lot of work and a lot of great work in starting on that, and I'm trying to continue what had first been built there. But I do try to apply these ideas that you need to look at it from the user end and let the technology drive the user's experience rather than sort of build from the ground up and see what kind of an interface you end up with at the end of the day, you know?
Do you think most companies get the user experience approach?
I think they're really starting to see it more and more. And I think what we've seen here at South by Southwest, which is the huge emergence of social network, where the users are actually driving the system, where the users are the system, is a huge change from this sort of, okay, you tell me this, I'll give you that kind of thing. Now it's much more of an enabling world. And our CEO, Sean Jenkins, is very visionary around that and has now started to layer a whole communications piece on top of what has been traditionally a transactional system for Benefit Focus. Now we're starting to add video into the product so that if people want to know, hey, what kind of a health plan is a PPO or an HMO at that crucial decision point, they can just click a button and watch a video about it. We're starting to build in blogs, wikis. We have a whole roadmap here of really creating social media around healthcare. It's so hard to understand. There's very little transparency in it. All your records live with your doctors. There's huge opportunity here for us to apply social networking to what's traditionally been a very transactional business of who are you and what benefits are you entitled to. So, you know, the company is now taking that to the next level, and it's really exciting to be a part of that.
I'm sure it is.
We're glad to be there.
You were mentioning to me earlier that you felt that the focus of the panels here at South by Southwest has moved away from the more technical things like JavaScript and CSS. You don't find those words in the titles of the panels anymore, and it's moving more towards social media. What other kinds of trends have you seen here at South by Southwest?
I think the reason that you're seeing that evolution of the panels is that there's an evolution of the web. There's a lot of information now out there about how to do those technical things, and that people are looking at a more user experience and a more social experience in the web, and so the focus has moved to that. We've learned how to do a lot of those things. We're also seeing a lot of technical frameworks now. .NET and companies like Infragistics who are building whole tool sets of interface patterns that you can literally drag and drop onto your page, and the code is being generated and hooked up to the databases through those actions. And you can go in and tweak that code, but a lot of the heavy lifting is being done for you now, so that you can focus much, much more on those rich user experiences. And I think here we're seeing a focus in those kind of panels that say, here's where your energy now needs to go. We've solved a lot of those technical problems, and that information is available out there very widely now. So now let's look at the next layer. It's very much like the benefit focus thing, the transactions. We've made that work. We can hook people in, we can do the business logic, and we can get people enrolled in the correct benefits at the correct time. Okay, now how do we make that a meaningful experience for our users? How do we reach out to them and help them create the tools they need as HR managers to make their companies better? How do we help the members in those plans get connected with their healthcare and start to take control of it? That's a great example of what's being talked about here at South by Southwest being put into action.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Every year after South by Southwest, I think we all leave here with just our brains full of new insights about things that we want to put into effect as we move forward. And then, of course, there are the famous parties. You had a very interesting map. I don't suppose you have it with you, where you had...
I do have the map somewhere. Maybe I can pull the map out while I talk to you. And, you know, people say, oh, you went to this party and you went to that party and you went to the other party. And yes, I did. But you know what's really, really exciting about the parties is that that's where you have time to meet with people and really just be one-on-one. And there are people here from the industry, my heroes from the industry, who, you know, you maybe wouldn't see otherwise. Their people have time. Last year, I sat in the green room after my session with Henry Rollins, and we just chatted, you know. I mean, I would never meet him in the real world, but there he is. And he's not in his usual, you know, I'm about to go on stage kind of environment. He's just kicking back and wants to chat, and he's come here for the same reasons I have, which is to recharge your batteries and get inspiration, you know?
So here in this digital world, we have this rather analog map that shows downtown Austin, and you've noted all the parties, and some have triple exclamation points after them, and I just thought this was pretty interesting approach to... Most people are probably putting it on their iPhones and iCals and all that, and
yeah, I just thought it was something I could carry around in my pocket. People are always walking up to you and saying, where's such and such a thing? And I thought, well, this year I'll know. And yeah, it's kind of lo-fi, but there's some interesting information here. You can see where the highest party density is and that kind of thing. You know, it's like one of those Edward Tufte informational charts. I should send it to him, see what he has to say about that.
Yes, he'd be interested, I'm sure.